So while I finished the first Watch Dogs, I didn't particularly enjoy it. And a huge factor was that the PC version was not a good port. I want to say that straight up. When it was eventually made so that it was less stutter-free by a mod, I finally delved into the game and things felt hollow. Yeah, there were some gameplay moments I did enjoy, certain action sequences and stealth, but I felt like it was missing a soul, like I was looking at a robot that looked cool, but it didn't feel as human as it could be. So you'd think that anticipating a sequel for a game I didn't like that much wouldn't be in the cards, but I always think of new entries in a series as a fresh start to improve upon shortcomings, and overall to give a game a chance to get better. And after being in the shoes of hacker Marcus Holloway, Watch Dogs 2 is such an improved sequel that the time I spent playing, about 15 to 20 hours, just flew by. I had so much fun hacking and being sneaky in this game that I feel Marcus Holloway could totally pull off an Ezio-sized trilogy of his own. Coming from someone who lives in the Bay Area, Ubisoft has done a tremendous job recreating San Francisco and the neighboring areas Marin and Oakland, even if it isn't exactly one-to-one. Sadly, I live south of Oakland on the map, and that portion of the Bay Area was omitted from the game. But what we do have, crafted here for us, is such an interesting place to explore, artistically speaking, that I had to sit there just taking in the sights and sounds. Such a vibrant space that anything from the iconic Golden Gate Bridge to a simple mural on a wall can make your eyes wander. And I really wanted to explore the environment to find all the hidden gems in the city because of one virtual app in the game, Scout X, which gives Marcus followers basically experience if he takes a picture of all the cool spots scattered around the cities. Throughout my travails, I took pictures of classic spots such as the meandering Lombard Street, the Palace of Fine Arts, and the Pier 39 Sea Lions. While those usually crowded areas are great and all, it's the smaller, more intimate attractions that really show the personality of San Francisco. For instance, I encountered the Bushman that hides behind a pair of leafy branches, randomly scaring people. Artist Sally, which surrounds you in an array of color. And this. I mean, how often do you see giant fishnet legs popping out of a second-story window? Lastly, I just want to say that Ubisoft definitely got the atmosphere right. Shadows from the skyscrapers as it looms over the city sets a chilly mood, the poor parts of Oakland are visible, and the way the fog rolls in, enveloping the Golden Gate Bridge, is just like what I see every night when I watch the weather on the news. And weirdly, the most mundane thing in the game gave me chills. So we use the lower deck of the Bay Bridge as it heads to Yerba Buena Island when we drive back to Oakland from San Francisco. And that portion of the bridge just felt so spot on. I really believed I was actually there for a second. So developers, bravo! Throughout my time with Watch Dogs 2, I really felt like a hacker, giving me the option to just sit there and work my magic remotely. And this works because of two devices, the jumper and the drone, the latter of which you'll need to save up money to print out. The jumper is great because in some missions it's essentially a proxy for Marcus. While it can't shoot, it can distract and hack devices and panels. You can even upgrade it for speed and jump distance. And by using these tricks, it's possible to complete certain missions using just the jumper. Now the drone on the other hand gives you a bird's eye view of the place, locating enemies, plus also hacking devices. It cannot, however, directly hack a physical object, but the one thing it's great for is puzzle solving in the form of nodes. In the original Watch Dogs, when Aiden hacked certain things, he was sent to cyberspace to connect electrical currents together, turning different shaped nodes. In Watch Dogs 2, the idea is the same, but the wires where the current goes are literally running through the walls of buildings. It's pretty wild at first, jarring even when you first see it, but I find it an excellent way to change up perspectives. Eventually, you'll have to think about how to traverse through levels using your tools, including whatever upgrades you've acquired given your playstyle. Being a stealthy player, I focused on upgrades for the stun gun, drone, jumper, as well as social engineering and vehicle hacking. The level design is great because there are a lot of ways to complete a level. For instance, I had to blow up some packages inside a garage, but there were a ton of guards outside, so using the cameras I hacked a forklift, lifted an explosive box on a pallet, opened the garage door, placed the explosives, and detonated. All the while Marcus was just sitting outside using his laptop. There are even instances in Watch Dogs 2 where you want to acquire a key data or research point used for upgrades. They're usually on top of a building somewhere, and from here you have to scan your environment looking for a way up. Oftentimes you can climb buildings using Marcus's parkour ability, and other times you might need to use a window washing platform or even a crane. It's really awesome most things can be hacked to your advantage, especially those handy scissor lifts.
Officers have been dispatched. Please remain calm.
Just patch the holes.
Let them. Don't worry, cyber child. Permanently.
Throughout the story, you'll be accompanied by
Let's all get back to
Sitara,
work, and let's bring this thing home.
Josh,
No, we got this.
Wrench,
Order shipments before some do-gooder white hat tells home how to cock block us.
and Horatio.
What's up, brother? What's up, man? Well, please, help yourself to a pomegranate. There to die for.
Immediately, when you meet these characters, the mood compared to the original Watch Dogs changes. Yeah! Everything feels way more lighthearted instead of somber and brooding, and the style as well as the characters are very likable. You'll get to know each one as the story progresses, even if you do get to know Wrench a bit more than the others.
Do you think my friend's mask is hot or creepy?
Both.
You staying for another cup of coffee? Have a good one.
At the start, they're just making a name for themselves, having some fun in the process. But by the end, they have a goal in mind and try to follow it through.
Hackers love a challenge.
Plus, there are some cool surprises along the way. And the side missions kind of reflect this change as they run in parallel with the story. Initial missions involve messing with someone's treadmill,
Dude, are you okay?
and teaching Sitara's sister a lesson.
This house is so busted!
By the middle, you'll be helping a very emotional person from preventing himself from jumping off a building. That's some serious stuff, and by the end of it, these side activities really flesh out the world, adding more impact as you take a glimpse into other people's lives. I think the best thing Ubisoft did, aside from improving the hacking and gameplay in Watch Dogs 2, is taking the game to the San Francisco Bay Area. It just makes sense bringing this franchise into the heart of Silicon Valley, where tech is in the forefront. And Marcus and the rest of the gang fit into this world perfectly, eventually forming lasting bonds, hacking their way to reveal the truth to the people. In the end, after hacking so many panels, people, cameras, and vehicles, as well as solving puzzles, Watch Dogs 2 is a meaty journey that usually gives you something interesting to do. There wasn't a time I was at all bored. Frustrated maybe, when I finally met those armed guards, but I genuinely enjoyed the gameplay, action and stealth, and it fit according to the style I chose. Remember that cool looking robot I talked about at the start? It's finally got a soul. I recommend giving Watch Dogs 2 a shot, especially coming from someone who wasn't too enamored with the original.
Alright, keep your chin up. Peace!
We'll show you what happens to you. We are Densa.